Hi, I'm Andrew from Typical Contents. Summer is a vibrant time of year. Blue skies, blossoming flowers, sandy beaches, and often it's also hot. The coming of that summer heat means swapping to some lighter clothing, and this extends to footwear. For me, the quintessential summer shoe is a white or off-white, lightweight, low-top canvas sneaker. They keep your feet from overheating and they go well with a wide variety of different outfits. I researched 20 pairs of these sneakers and bought and wore 9 to find the best. Here are the 9 pairs tested in this guide. The Arquette Canvas Trainers, Converse's Chuck Taylor 1970s Ox, Muji's Water Repellant Trainers, the Novesta Starmaster, Springcourt's G2 Scratch, Springcourt's G2 Washed Vintage Heavy Twill, Supergas 2750 Co2, the Traytorn Nightlight, and the Vans Authentic 44DX. Here's what we look for in a pair of low-top canvas sneakers. Firstly, what type of sneaker is it? There are a number of popular types, such as tennis shoes, basketball shoes, boat shoes, and so on.
We don't do anything illegal whatsoever.
Next, only shoes that were unisex or had a comparable men's and women's version were included. Admittedly, shoes were only tested on decidedly wide male feet, so women's mileage may vary. Comfort is one of the most important areas looked at. It is the culmination of a number of other factors such as fit, materials, and quality of insoles. Shoes should be comfortable out of the box and remain comfortable for long walks in the summer heat without irritation. Shoes should fit properly in terms of length, width, and height such that the wearer's foot isn't grinding uncomfortably against the interior of the shoe when walking. Aim for a slightly roomy fit to allow for foot expansion in the heat and to allow toes to splay out in the toe box of the shoe when walking. An annoying fact of footwear is difference of fit across the industry. Different sizing systems in the US, UK, Europe, and Japan create additional headaches. Shoes that fit true to size are preferred, but additional guidance will be offered for any shoes tested. Another factor in comfort is the insole. Insoles should be thick, soft, supportive, and removable. Minimal detailing and a plain white or off-white colorway is preferred. The plainness of the footwear is one of the reasons it will work well with a large variety of outfits. Uppers should be soft without being flimsy. The material should be breathable enough so the wearer's feet won't overheat on a summer day. The outsoles were made of vulcanized rubber. The soles are bonded to the upper with high heat. This process cures the rubber and makes it hard wearing and flexible. Being both lightweight and light in color means these shoes won't last forever, but durability is still an important factor and indicator of quality. These shoes should last a full summer of being worn multiple days a week at a minimum, and preferably much longer. The shoes tested came from 5 different countries: Vietnam, China, Slovakia, Spain, and the Philippines. Much of the knowledge of footwear exists in Asia today, which means it's difficult for companies to manufacture footwear elsewhere at scale. Most companies we tested were not transparent about the conditions of their factories or their supply chains, which was disappointing. This information was researched online and also on Good On You, an eco-fashion brand database, where possible. Many of these companies are 50 to 100 years old. This means that some of those companies have changed hands multiple times, so we decided to examine the ownership and corporate history of the brands we tested. The price was deliberately restricted to a more accessible price point, as we felt this was appropriate for a lightweight pair of single-season shoes. This meant we avoided testing the more luxe end of the market, which included Japanese brands like Doek and shoes like Pottery, and tech bro favorite Allbirds. We look for items to be in stock most of the time and easy to get a hold of in major geographies. Let's start with the best overall sneaker. The Novesta Starmaster leaves a striking impression right out of the box. The aggressively large eyelets and brutalist ridges along the sides and toe cap give way to a beautiful yellow interior. Although the looks can be potentially off-putting when looked at in product photos online, the Novestas are much more palatable and understated when actually worn on foot. Just like any white trainer, they'll attract dirt. What separated the Novestas from others in testing is that they actually got better looking after getting beat up and developing a patina, which is not something that could be said of any of the other pairs tested. After a year of heavy use and abuse, my pair are weathered, but in a way that adds to their charm. Getting the right fit for these shoes can be tough as they run very large. Ended up sizing down a full UK size from 10 to 9 or 2 EU sizes from 45 to 43. Others with feet less wide than mine could potentially size down even more. The recommendation is to buy from a retailer with a good returns policy because sizing the shoes correctly can be difficult. The shoes are made in Novesta's factory in Slovakia. The company have more recently moved to what they describe as quote-unquote vegan materials, which was nice to see. In terms of price, they're excellent value at $59 or £49. That price for a well-manufactured, durable pair of comfortable canvas trainers is a steal. Next up is the runner-up or also good pick. The Springcourt G2 Washed Vintage Heavy Twill are supremely comfortable thanks to their excellent removable insoles and soft cotton twill upper. The insoles were bouncy and thick, and the cotton twill upper was much more soft and comfortable than any other shoe tested. The soft upper meant that they were comfortable even without socks and could be worn for long walks without any issues whatsoever. The comfort meant I instinctively reached for them whenever I was running out the door. Spring Court is some legit style heritage, having been worn by John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Serge Gainsbourg and David Hockney. According to Steve Sanderson, founder of Mancunian menswear juggernaut Oi Polloi, they're as classic as Converse or Vans or Superga. The shoes are made in Spain, although this is not indicated anywhere on Spring Court's website and only on a small, easily removable sticker on the shoes themselves. However, Spring Court manufactures some of its other models in Vietnam. Unfortunately, Spring Court are not transparent about the conditions inside either of their factories, which is disappointing. The Spring Courts did not wear dirt and grime as well as the top pick, and did appear a bit grubby after extended use. The fit was slightly long and narrow. I'm usually a UK 10 or EU 44, but I ended up taking an EU 45 for the additional width. If you do not have wide feet, you can probably take your normal size. Although the Spring Courts were priced higher than our other picks, it's arguably still a fair price for a high quality pair of shoes made in Europe by an independent company. If you fancy the tennis shoe styling or the illustrious heritage appeals to you, and you're also willing to baby them a bit, the Spring Court G2 washed vintage heavy twill are a good choice. Next up is the budget pick. I found myself sending pictures of the Muji water repellent trainers to my friends with captions along the lines of only £20. For that price, these shoes are exceptionally high quality, easily matching or exceeding shoes more than twice the price. They are comfortable and have understated tennis shoe styling. The removable insole is plush and was nearly as comfortable as those in our top picks. It did have unusual bumps at the arch and ball of the foot, but these weren't irritating in practice. The upper was not as soft as either of our other picks. In particular, the heel of the upper was stiff and gave some irritation to the Achilles tendon when worn with no or low-cut socks. Sizing is done through the Japanese system, which will be confusing for many. However, you should be able to figure out your size with a bit of online sleuthing. I ended up with the 28.3cm size, and I usually take a UK 10 or EU 44 or 45. The fit was slightly roomy for my wide feet, but comfortable. Muji's return window is fair at 30 days, but returning items is a bit of a hassle. You'll have to package up and post your parcel yourself. No slick return system like ASOS or Amazon here. The shoes come packaged in a plastic bag rather than the box, which is clearly a budgetary decision, although this didn't impact the shoes in any way. For this rock bottom price, there are a couple of caveats. Firstly, they attract dirt extremely easily. The toe cap in particular picked up some heavy markings within a couple of days of use. The shoes are manufactured in China, and Muji are not transparent about the conditions. Eco-brand directory Good On You says Muji does not communicate sufficient information about its labour policies and rates the company practices as not good enough. But the main issue with these shoes is the experience of purchasing them from Muji, which feels like stepping in a time machine. Using the website itself isn't a great experience, and the shoes also seem to go out of stock frequently. When I did eventually purchase a pair, it was waiting for dispatch for around a week, after which I was told it would take 2 to 15 working days to arrive. It did only take 3 though. But if you make it through this gauntlet, you'll be rewarded with a real gem of a summer shoe at an unbelievable price. Now let's look at the other sneakers we tested, the pros and cons of each, and ultimately why we didn't pick them. The Arca canvas trainers were somewhat uncomfortable, felt cheaply made, had stiff uppers, and fit large. Although they appear to have once been available for women, that is no longer the case, and only the men's version is now available. For this reason, we discounted them. They're made in China. Of course, the ubiquitous Converse had to feature in our testing. We chose the more upmarket Converse Chuck Taylor 1970s Ox, which feature improved quality and a removable insole over their more basic counterparts. The insole proved very comfortable and impressed us. However, we found the shoes narrow-fitting and thought they were overly elongated in appearance. They're quite expensive at £65 and not deserving of this price tag. Cheaper shoes perform better, and our top pick can be had for £4 more. They're made in Vietnam. You'd be mistaken for thinking the Spring Court G2 Scratch is a sister to our runner-up pick, but it's more of a distant cousin. Although they bear a close resemblance, the shoe has actually made a continent away from our runner-up pick over in Vietnam. But other than that, and a lack of laces, these were just as comfortable and presented similar sizing issues. The Scratch Velcro Twist is a divisive styling option, equally bringing to mind an old folks home, a Westworld-style mental institution, or a child that has yet to master their laces. Ultimately, we felt the scratches were a bit too long, and after some use had an annoying tendency to bend upwards even when tied down. We found the Superga 2750 Kotu uncomfortable due to their narrow fit, minimal cushioning, and stiff upper material. The insole is thin and means the shoes feel overly firm underfoot. We also thought the tag with the brand's logo on the upper was garish. Finally, Superga has a strange licensing deal in the United States, which means they're distributed exclusively by the Steve Madden Corporation, which we didn't like. Overall, we found them to be basic and overpriced at £55. They're made in Vietnam. The good looks of the Tretorn Nylite couldn't overcome their okayness in our testing. They weren't uncomfortable, but they also weren't particularly comfortable either. The non-removable insole did its job but didn't excel like our top picks. The upper was slightly stiff out of the box, resulting in some discomfort at the heel which faded after a couple of wears. Being owned by the Authentic Brands Group, coupled with OK construction, makes this Swedish brand feel anything but authentic. They're also relatively expensive at £60. Having said all that, the looks may be enough to sway some to take the plunge. They're made in Vietnam. The boat shoe styling of the Vans Authentic 44DX harks back to the early days of the company. We found their looks appealing and their fit true to size. They were also reasonably comfortable, but not as comfortable as any of our top picks. The upper was stiff, and the foxing, where the sole meets the upper, has an ugly join at the heel of the shoe which we didn't like. Vans is owned by VF Corporation, who also owns Timberland, Jansport, Smartwool, The North Face and many others. That's not necessarily a negative, but doesn't exactly fill us with joy either. They're made in the Philippines. To recap, after buying and testing 9 pairs of white, low-top canvas sneakers, we found the Novesta Starmaster to be the best. They're a visually striking pair of trainers that get better with age, are reasonably priced, and made in Slovakia. They cost $59 or £45. We found the Springcourt G2 washed vintage heavy twill were also a great pair of sneakers. They're an incredibly comfortable, premium feeling pair of sneakers with legit tennis heritage and a refined, understated look. They're made in Spain and cost $82 or €89. Muji's water repellent sneakers were our budget pick. They're a solid pair of canvas sneakers for a truly rock bottom price. Muji's online ordering experience leaves a lot to be desired though. They're made in China and cost $29.90 or £19.95. What do you think? Have you tried any of these sneakers? Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comments. You can find links to purchase all the items mentioned in this video in the description. Check out our full written guide, plus lots of other guides over on typicalcontents.com.